Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hey, we're live
What? This is crazy.
with our first test live stream. How crazy is that? And Todd's got a little story. He is trapped in a bunker without power.
I'm in complete darkness.
So, sorry, but that's how we roll at WSTR. Heather, you want to do the honors? Give us a little intro.
I would love to. Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Heather Allred. This is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 79. Today we're going to talk the tragedy that is Anakin Skywalker. As you've already heard, joining me in the discussion today is Mr. Aaron Julian.
Happy to be here.
And coming from the darkness, Mr. Todd Hoffman.
I can't see you guys. I'm very scared.
That's okay. We can't see you either.
That's right. That's right. Well, guys, I think we should shake things up today, and let's start with some Cantina chat. Who's up for it? You guys ready?
Yeah, Heather, where were you last week?
I was in sunny California. Yay.
What?
I know. You guys
Say
were
it ain't so.
sweltering in the 90-some degree weather.
Ugh.
I was hanging out in the mid to upper 70s.
That hurts so much.
I'm so
I
I work
sorry.
outside, Heather. It's bad.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you enjoyed your time.
Thank you.
So what did you do?
Yes, I went and played at the House of Mouse at the good old Disneyland.
Right on. Right on.
And just had a really good time with my best friend. But most importantly, I met Darth Vader.
What?
I know.
We're talking about him on this episode.
It's like he knew. Yeah, and I was given his blessing. He felt the darkness in me.
Ooh.
Wow.
I know.
That's some scary stuff.
It helped that I had the AT-AT popcorn bucket.
There you go. Was the darkness as compelling as the darkness that Todd is in right now?
Oh man, I don't know. I have light, so it's hard to tell.
Well, good. I'm glad you had fun.
Yes, so
Yeah,
it was
like
great.
what was the funnest part of the trip?
Oh man, probably fireworks at the castle. Not to.
Oh, did they have fireworks for 4th of July?
They probably did, since I was there pre
Gotcha.
4th of July, but they are celebrating the Pixar Pier, the whole new Pixar side of things. They had a special firework thing dedicated to Pixar, so it was a lot of fun.
Sweet. And you don't have to confirm or deny this, but apparently you were given a little secret mission while you were out at the House of Mouse. You know anything about that?
So, I definitely did all that I could to sneak backstage. It did not happen.
Not even with like Lord Vader's blessing.
I should have asked him specifically. But what I did end up doing is I rode the railroad around, and because it's elevated, there's like a section of the railway that you can look over, and I did see some of the construction. The troubling part about it is it went too fast to get any really good photos.
It's like they know.
It's like they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So no smoking gun for the Galaxy's Edge.
No, I mean, what I did see though, from what the sketch renderings have been, it looks pretty spot on. So I think we will be pleasantly pleased.
So you're giving an A+ to the Disney Imagineers that they're following their specs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's what gets me is like they're building 2 of those, like one in California, one in Orlando.
Yes. So
That's awesome.
Absolutely insane. Well, I'm glad you had fun on your trip. Glad you made it back safe and sound.
Yes. So sorry that I missed last week, but I was doing it for the greater good.
Boring conversation anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it was very enlightening.
Sorry, Todd. It was wonderful, but I saw that opportunity. I had to go for it.
Yeah. Exactly. So, Aaron, anything geeky with you this week, my friend?
Afraid I'm coming up with my pockets inside out. I got nothing.
Man.
I know. I'm just working all the time, dude.
That's all right. It's all good.
I know. I gotta tackle another audiobook. Maybe I'll have something to say then.
There you go. You could do that in weeks since you're driving so much, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I participated in a troop yesterday on Sunday, and I did the Bartlett Parade, which in 501st terms is called the Death March, because it's like over a mile and there's not much trees and it's like sunny and warm, but it was like
what, 85?
Yeah, it wasn't terrible yesterday. It wasn't like a balmy 100 or something like that. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was a hoot. We're marching down and a train came and we had to stop. So like about like only like 3 of us didn't make the train. So we were just sitting there at the gate as the train's going by and the parade's still going on and we had to catch up, and it was a lot of fun.
Was it a freight train or a passenger train?
It was a passenger train, you know. So
that's not too bad.
It wasn't too bad, but it was like awkward, like, oh, there goes the rest of we'll be back.
It just left you behind.
We'll be back. No troopers left behind. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. There's probably 40 of us, so it was a good little shindig, and there was a lot of people. It was huge. It's like over a mile long, this parade route. It's crazy. So it was a lot of fun. So did that, and it was a hoot. It was a hoot.
Did you get your blaster done?
I did.
Or whatever your gun is called?
Yes, I did. And then it didn't survive the troop, so I'm very sad right now.
Oh.
What? Did you throw it in a river or something, or whatever?
It like somewhat melted, so I have to. I'm gonna kind of fix it. So I'm hoping to fix it because I spent a lot of time on it. So it lasted literally one day. So there you go. But
yikes!
I just imagine you're carrying the thing and the barrel just starts drooping.
It's pretty much what happened after the troop.
No.
It was fine. It was fine during it, but then afterwards, it like didn't like the heat. So yeah, I'm not very happy about it. But I will try to fix it as much as I can because I spent a lot of time on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Oh, man. All right. So what's next, gentlemen?
I say let's shake it up a bit, go right into news of the week.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, here we go.
And now, the Star Wars news of the week.
Did you hear Carrie Russell she's going to be in episode 9?
They got scooped up.
I did. I
and then
heard it.
Scooped up by the maniacal arm of Disney.
Yeah, JJ's like, I need you back, Felicity. And this dropped today. Billy D official. You coming back? You coming back?
He's coming back. Episode 9?
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if he's going to make it out.
Ooh. I hope he does well as that other kid did.
The track record's not very good, so
no, it's not. I just want Lando, Nenub, and the Falcon one more time, man. Just give that to me, and I'll be happy, man. And they think he's gonna crash the Falcon somewhere.
He's gonna crash the Falcon. Nenub and him are not gonna make it up and make it out, and it'll be a sad day. So.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, because it's like story-wise, it's like, where's he been this whole time?
Well, apparently he just was being a punk and didn't answer Leia's distress call. So he's just like, oh, guys, it's in the middle of a deal. So.
Man. Han and Leia gone, just all of a sudden?
Yes.
He's not going to take it easy.
No. And he might not make it out of the movie either. So there's that. So that's interesting. I mean, I am interested to see how he's going to play into it. So
I hope they destroy the Falcon.
What?
He just does the fin maneuver, like in Last Jedi, but it actually works. That's what I hope happens.
That's what you hope. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. You're getting cynical, man. You're getting cynical.
What can I say? The Last Jedi has got me.
Yeah.
It's put me in some dark places.
Yeah, you're just listening to Kylo. It's like, let the past die.
Yeah, kill it if you have to.
Kill it if you have to, man. There you go. This also dropped today. C2E2 moved its dates up to March 22nd, I believe, instead of the 29th. So,
good news for us.
We're gonna be at McCormick Place. We're just gonna stay at McCormick Place. Like,
yeah, let's just camp out.
Yeah, it's just like, we're not going to leave. We're just gonna stay here if that's okay with you. So yeah, it was originally scheduled for March 29th, but now it is March 22nd through the 24th. 2019 we're talking about, and then a mere 18 days later or so, Celebration rolls in. So I just say, so we get out C2E2, and then we just get the tents out, and get a grill going, and we'll just stay there.
Just tailgate for 18 days.
Tailgate straight. We'll have like a couple of movie marathons. I mean, I think it would be great.
I like it.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go
wrong? So this also kind of dropped, and so last week Heather, you missed our dissertation, our manifesto, and that dropped on June 3rd by a Twitter username Azula. And so we kind of read through that and kind of talked through all the fan backlash of what was The Last Jedi. So on Sunday, July 8th, Logan director James Mangold warns against extreme fan backlash. And so he basically writes this tweet, which is pretty on point. It says, well, here you go. At the point when writing and directing big franchises has become the emotional loaded equivalent of writing a new chapter of the Bible with the probable danger of being stoned and called a blasphemer, then a lot of older minds are going to leave these films to hacks and corporate boards, Mangold writes. So yeah, so basically what he's saying is, like, because of this fan backlash, no creative people want to touch the franchise, and so they're just going to leave it to like some Joe Schmo off the street, and it's going to hurt the industry more than it's going to help. What do you think about that, Aaron?
I mean, he's kind of got a point. Like, nobody wants to read the continued adventures of Matthew and Mark. Like, that's set in stone. Let's not mess with it very much. And they got a point. I mean, a lot of people treat their franchises today like religions. If you, look at Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or
Star Wars,
Marvel. Yeah, Star Wars included. And, you know, it's like some people see things like The Last Jedi and they see it like, you know, the Force tree getting struck by lightning and lit on fire. And they're like, the sacred texts. And so some people don't take too kindly to that. So, but, you know, we've kind of been arguing about this, including our previous episode of this. It's like there's a place for like tradition and building off of the past and kind of commemorating it. But then you've also, on the other hand, have to have the flexibility to move forward into uncharted territory. And so I guess what happens when you're not ready to completely let go yet is you get the kind of backlash that we've been having. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think, Heather?
Yeah, I think he's got a very strong point. Is, you know, I look around from like a sports component and you see all these people who are like diehard fans of a particular team, and specifically with the World Cup going on, and, you know, the comments from people about, oh, I can't believe so-and-so got traded to such and such, and oh, that player, and ugh, and this, and ugh, and that. And
a lot of Uggs.
That's how much sports knowledge I have, friends. And so
we played a good game.
Yeah.
The team was better than us. We had a good strategy. Right.
Yeah.
They just won. They just won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go sports.
Yeah.
But yeah, just this idea that there will always be a base of the original trilogy, and we have to be okay with change and interpretation. That's what art is, and that's what the movies are. They're a form of art, and the minute you make it worse than it is you're going to auto get the backlash, and then they're going to streamline it, and no one's going to be happy because it's all going to be formulaic, and and then you're going to complain that it's formulaic.
Yeah.
And then they're going to make it different, and then you're going to complain that it's different, and then they're going to make it formulaic, and then it's
rinse and repeat.
Basically.
Okay. Gotcha. Oh man. All right. Well, let's move on to some positive news for you, Heather.
Yay!
You have to go back to California because San Diego Comic-Con is coming up, and Hasbro is going to release an exclusive Forces of Destiny Chewbacca with 2 porgs and 2 baby porglets as they're called. So that's right, you get 4 porgs and a Chewie as a San Diego Comic-Con Hasbro exclusive. Whoa. What do you think about that?
Yes.
Yes. Well, this is based off the episode that we in the Forces of Destiny season 2, when R2 and Chewie help out the porgs, and the porgs are messing with the Falcon, and Chewie and R2 and the porgs came to an understanding, and it all worked out. Now you get an action figure to help you out. So there you go.
There we go.
Is that not awesome or what?
I mean, I'm on board. And the fact that they've named baby porgs porglets.
Yeah, it's like another whole...
It's a whole nother level. Whole other level.
Yeah, I know. So now you know the official name of a baby porg. And it comes with like a little nest. I mean, like you can't beat that. I mean, really can't.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go. That is our news of the week. All right. Moving on to our main topic.
And now for our feature presentation.
We're talking about the one and only Darth Vader. Or
dun, dun, dun.
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. I'm feeling kind of like
that tall guy, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of feeling like Darth Vader because it's like really dark and there's only like a little bit of light, and I'm kind of feeling
how emo can you get?
Yeah. And no, it's almost like, in the Rogue One, I'm in the hallway and I just see like this red glow at the end of the hallway. I'm like, oh no, it's not happening. And the lights just went on. Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Oh,
the force
is strong with this one.
The light just went on at the end of the hallway. I'm like, okay, now I'm kind of freaking out. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna shut up right now. Okay, so there's a lot of different angles we can go with Anakin Skywalker. So this might be a part 2, 3, 4. I don't know. We could be talking about Anakin the whole summer, I guess. I don't know. But at least I think what we should do tonight is just kind of talk about how we saw it in a sense of like going original trilogy. So we'll start kind of from the beginning, because I think Anakin is, as Shrek eloquently put it, he's kind of like an onion. There's many layers. And some of those layers burned off. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Oh, Todd. I know. Hey, sometimes you have the dad jokes. I'm just, maybe it's my touche. Yeah, touche. So I think we can only start really with his entrance on Tantive 4. To me, it's probably the best villain entrance of all time.
Yeah, it's hard to top that.
Like in today's movies, a lot of times like the villain is kind of secret. It's like they're kind of sly. They might be, it's like not really, oh, this is the bad guy, A lot of modern movies are like that. Oh, he seems really like Sky, and then he's like a snake or whatever. There's like literally no mistaking like Darth Vader. He's the bad guy.
Yeah, it's not like Dr. Claw, where you just see the hand on the desk.
Right. Exactly. No, this guy, since I'm a wrestling fan, it kind of has a wrestling entrance, because like the door blows up. And we talk, Aaron, when we talked to our stormtrooper buddies, like way back in like episode 4 or 5, they said like Tantive 4 kind of caught on fire. The set caught on fire. They had problems with the door and the blower. There's pyro going on, and then there's smoke, and then there's some breathing, and then there's Darth Vader. It's pretty epic. Heather, what do you think about the Darth Vader entrance?
Well, I was just going to say, when you mentioned it, the fact that you hear him breathing before you sort of take him all in is one of the cooler parts about him.
Yeah.
Is that you're like, similar like you just joked about the lights coming on. You're like, all right, here we are. It's good. And then all of a sudden you hear this noise and you're like, oh, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was for me kind of the big one.
Yeah. I mean, and there's no mistaking his look either, which is also kind of fantastic.
For sure.
Yeah. Kind of got the scuba mask going on, for your CPAP lovers out there, got the CPAP breathing thing going on, and kind of like the samurai helmet and just the whole look. It shouldn't work, but it does. It's like, wait, he's like got this padding and cape, and we learned from Incredibles you can't wear capes, but he pulls it off.
Yeah. He does it well.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's obviously a great intro, and we can learn something from Wreck-It Ralph as well. Street Fighter 2 Russian power bombing, wrestler Zangief said, and I say, Zangief, you are a bad guy, but that does not mean you are bad guy. So that's pretty much sums up Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. It's like, you're a bad guy, but it doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
He's the bad guy that we love.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's what makes Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader so interesting. And really, I think, he's the classic Greek tragedy that Lucas kind of uses as the template for Anakin Skywalker. Don't you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, what really impresses me about that opening scene is, I mean, everything that we've talked about, but we also, being the audio guy, we hear him before we actually see him.
Yeah.
And it's like, this thing is just like otherworldly, robotic, not quite human anymore, because nobody else breathes like that, but he does. So it's like, because the stormtroopers have helmets too, but only Darth Vader has like the assisted breathing, and that really cuts across like how different, and almost like he's like a wounded animal, but the kind that has survived and gotten stronger from it. And I don't know, it's just like a perfect blend of all of those different things coming together to really set Darth Vader apart and make him unforgettable. And that just, I mean, I love that it starts there, but then it also just continues into this whole complex character arc that he has, where, and I think we'll get into this in a little bit, but it's like,
he's
not just
everywhere.
the bad guy. yeah. He's not just the bad guy. He's the good guy's dad, or was, long ago.
Right.
We don't know that yet, but for the sake of pacing for A New Hope, it's like, not only is he like the ultimate bad guy, but he's got that connection to the good guy, Luke, by killing his dad. So you're like, what a jerk.
I hate you, jerk.
Yeah. And so it's like, we first we're in awe of him, and then we're like, we hate him.
Right.
And but not enough to like see him destroyed. Like he shouldn't just get blown up at the end, but, but we want to see some development and change and a payoff, and we eventually do in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so I guess that's where, I mean, we learn of Anakin basically through Obi-Wan. So, and he basically, this is one of my favorite parts of A New Hope, and just kind of the backstory of who, what Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship is. And so Luke says, no, my father didn't fight in the wars. He was a navigator on a space freighter. And Luke goes, you fought in the Clone Wars? And Obi-Wan replies, yes, I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father. He was the best star pilot in the galaxy, a cunning warrior, and he was a good friend. So it's like you get this little, just this little nugget of information. You're like, okay, he's a good pilot. He hung out with Obi-Wan for a little bit, and they were good friends, So you're like, and Darth Vader killed him. That big jerk,
Yeah.
It's like, so I really, that's the first time you hear Anakin Skywalker's name dropped, so that there's some heritage there with Luke, and like you said, we don't find out too much more of Darth Vader. Just the fact, he's force sensitive, and when they have that fight in the Death Star, you're like, okay, he can hang. In today's standards, it's a little slow pace, but the two geriatrics go at it, and you're like, ping, 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 and but Obi-Wan makes Luke see him in a sense to carry his journey forward. But again, he already lost his aunt and uncle, and now Luke sees his other mentor, Obi-Wan, destroyed by Darth Vader, and Darth Vader killed his dad. So now there's like so much going on there. It's like
kind of a bad day.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad day. It's like, what the heck, So yeah, there's that part of it, and they don't really face each other, but Darth Vader's hot on Luke's tail, and Darth Vader is sensitive enough to know that Luke is, force sensitive. It's like, oh, the force is strong with this one, So
yeah,
it's like, okay. So then fast forward to Empire Strikes Back. Darth Vader's hot on their tail. It's kind of like he's sending the whole army after the rebels, and you know that he's his single purpose is like Luke Skywalker, because he destroyed like this huge armored battle station that he probably had a lot of input in on building, or at least protecting. That was probably his job, to protect. It was like, man, Emperor's so mad at me, So. But yeah, I think obviously from a Star Wars perspective, this is where like the biggest name drop, and Vader drops the bomb on Luke at the end, and it's also the most misquoted line in pop culture. But we might get to that later. But because everyone says, "Luke, I am your father," but he doesn't say, "Luke, I am your father." He says, "No, I am your father." So just one of those things,
Yep.
It's like and that's part of like the charm of Lucas. It's like, this is kind of like, you tell stories around the campfire, and that has like permeated pulp culture so much that it's so misquoted that it just becomes the quote.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that's sort of,
no, go ahead, Heather.
Yeah. I think that's sort of the brilliance of this as a bad guy, where you have this whole film to realize, I don't like him. Like, he's done a lot of really crappy things.
Yeah.
Clearly he's force sensitive, and so we know that's going to bite us in the butt later, because obviously we know there's a light side and a dark side and everything. And so you're rooting for, Han and Leia, and you're got Luke, and he's young and he's adorable and whatever. And you're like, yep, that's the bad guy. It's set in stone. I know who I'm cheering for, and I know who I'm supposed to hate. And then all of a sudden in the second movie, they're like, boom, now we're going to give you a reason to sort of like him.
Right.
Feel for him. And then all of a sudden you've got a villain with layers, and you're like, wait, now what do I do? I'm so confused.
Well, I mean,
but then he's still wicked intimidating. Right.
I could tell you, like, we had to wait, at least for me, I had to wait 3 years for it to, because it kind of sounded true, but you're like, no. Because Obi-Wan said that you killed, like, how can you be the father if Obi-Wan...
He was lying.
Why do adults lie? I don't understand.
I bet it broke a lot of kids. Because all of a sudden you have these mixed feelings like, whoa, like, what if he is his father? Mm-hmm. It's like, no, he can't be. He's lying. But why would he lie?
Right.
Probably some fights started on some schoolyards.
Oh, yeah.
Some broken noses.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because honestly, it's one of those things, like, especially from my bad guy perspective, it's like one of those things, like, you kind of think there's some truth in it, but maybe not. And, especially like when you're younger, it's like, well, but Obi-Wan seemed like he knew what he was doing, so why would he lie to Luke? So no, he's just playing with him. And yeah, it's just, it definitely messes with your head. But like you said, Heather, it just literally, it's one of those things that like just adds layers to it, and it's beautiful, So now, yeah, go ahead.
I was just about to say, it's like that revelation even like changes how you see Obi-Wan, because then in Return of the Jedi, you have that whole from a certain point of view thing to kind of explain what was going on there. And then it's like, man, not even Obi-Wan's a straight shooter,
Yeah.
So it's like, what do we do?
Right. Exactly.
Hi, by the way, we can see you now.
It's lights. lights.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's just there's light.
Power has been restored to the light side.
Exactly. So so then in Return of the Jedi, you really get more of a softer side of Darth Vader, I guess. I don't know. It's like when they finally meet on Endor and Luke surrenders him, it's like he's like, I feel the good in you, and Vader's like, I'm kind of dead, man. Like dead man walking, It's like,
well, it's the first time they've been actually able to spend some quality time together,
right? Yeah,
because the only other time they're together, it's like they're, weapons are out, things are not good.
Yeah,
but
well, and he cut off his hand, no big deal, In classic Star Wars
that does
form.
tend to sour the mood.
It does. It's like, Dad, you cut off my hand, dude. Not cool, man. So
I don't know how your family Thanksgiving dinners are, but
well, I there hasn't been a severed hand yet, but right. There's something to shoot for, I guess.
Baby steps. You'll work your way up there.
Yeah. What do you do at family dinners? We take off a finger every holiday, Oh my gosh. That's Stumpy over there, So
moving swiftly on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this got really weird really fast.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, but I think Vader at this point, you kind of, Aaron, you mentioned the Obi-Wan scene with Luke at Dagobah, and this is where I totally hated Obi-Wan, because I'm like, you lied, you absolutely lied to Luke, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. And I was just like, for a certain point, when Luke says from a certain point of view, I'm absolutely at the same point. I'm like, dude, this is not cool, man. This is like no good. So I hated Obi-Wan, like from that point on. Like, you're dead to me. But when they finally meet there on Endor, it's kind of, you get that, like, there's no hope left in Vader at this point, but yet from Luke's perspective, he still senses that good, and Vader at this point, or Anakin, is like, yeah, I'm not who you think you are, or basically all his sins are right there on the table. It's like, yeah, this is not going to go the way you think it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's like, it's quite literally like you have a estranged dad who just kind of shows up one day, and you're like, I'm glad you're here, but you got a lot of things to sort through,
Right. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to,
feels weird.
You have to wonder if this hope that Luke saw in him, is it this young kid who just still sees the idea of a parent versus actually good in Vader?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the beauty of that component of the relationship.
Right.
Is, well, but my parents have been fighting, but then they went and had dinner, so clearly they're not going to get a divorce, or they're going to get remarried, or Dad sent me the birthday card, so
it's obviously going to work out.
Obviously it's going to work out.
Right.
Yeah.
This is cutting a little too close to home.
Do we need are we opening up a therapy session right now? Let's go.
Yeah, let me get my Kleenex.
Get it all pulled together. But
you're gonna need this.
Yeah. But I don't know. Now I feel like I can't say anything else.
This is a dark episode for us.
Oh man. But he's a complex
hey, no
guy,
pun intended.
guys.
I was really in the dark for a while there, dude.
You were.
It was a really dark episode.
Yeah.
But that's what makes Anakin so amazing, I think, is that at this point in the story, you kind of, when Yoda kind of gives his deathbed statement and basically says, like, the father he is, you're like, dude, no. No.
Yoda, why you got to be like that?
So now, so it's like, okay, Aunt Beru, Uncle Owen, dead. Obi-Wan dead. Now Yoda dies, and it's like, it's just bad news. It's like
no one's left.
You know. So it's like, okay, now you're telling me this dude, and I think this is where, still at this point, I think the Jedi are failing because their only solution after all this time is that Darth Vader's got to die or this doesn't work. Like, this can't work, you know? And Luke at this point is still like, I don't know if that's such a good idea. This is my dad, you know? I just met him. It kind of got off to a rocky start. He kind of pushed me out a window and cut off my hand. It's like, but
after meeting him, you know, I kind of like him, you know?
Yeah. And
let's give him a chance.
Yeah. Exactly. So now, when we're at again, from Return of Jedi perspective, we're at a point where, he meets the baddest of the bad dudes, which is the Emperor. And you kind of realize at this point too, like, Darth Vader is a little soft compared to how the Emperor is. And you're like, dude, this guy's like really evil, you know? So
yeah,
you're like, my dad's not that bad.
Well, that's the distinction though, right? You've got a bad guy versus an evil guy.
Yeah.
Which is why then it's fun to talk about Kylo, because you don't want him to be just another bad guy. You really kind of want him to go like straight evil. But that's four to seven episodes previous.
Right, exactly.
Ignore me.
Well, no, I mean, it kind of goes back to, again, to what I started with, you know, our great philosopher Zangief, who says, you know, I say, Zangief, you are a bad guy, but that does not mean you are a bad guy, you know? But you realize very quickly that the Emperor, he's got one level, and that's evil.
That is a one-note song.
It's just, you know, cue the Emperor's music. It's like, burr, you know, it's just like, he's all evil, you know? But I think that's where Return of Jedi kind of has that nice little ending where it's like you get not the Blu-ray edition where he says no and all this stuff. Like he looks, he's looking at his, you know, he's looking at his father, you know, that kind of thing, and it's just like, okay, what is happening, you know? And he makes the decision, you know, and he's the only one that could do it, you know, which is kind of very interesting, I think, from a story perspective.
Yeah, and as far as the Emperor goes, it's like Empire Strikes Back rolls around, and we actually see that the Darth Vader does bow to somebody. It's
yes, that's true. Yeah,
you know, he's not. I guess in one sense it makes him a bit more likable because we know he's not the most bad guy around. Yeah, even though we think he is.
Right.
But then suddenly, with the Emperor, it's like, oh, there's something even worse behind the scenes, and because of that, we get to like Darth Vader a bit more, and it also, I don't know, there's that little bit of hope where it's like, oh, maybe, you know, there's a greater evil that he and Luke can fight against, and eventually, yes, they do.
Yeah, now I'm going to go back just a smidge. Do you think? What do you think about Tarkin in A New Hope with Vader? Do you think it's Tarkin running the show or Vader running the show? Because it's kind of both, I think.
Well, you could kind of tell that it's just politics is like the reason why Darth Vader's not doing anything or is taking orders from Tarkin.
Yeah.
Because we have that scene where he doesn't even have to touch a dude and he's already choking him out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what are you taking orders from Tarkin for? Just choke him out and assume command. But it's like, we get the sense it's, you know, like for political reasons.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
We don't lose sympathy for, or we don't lose respect for Vader.
Oh, right.
Because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He's kind of just like, I'm going to tolerate you. It's kind of like he has a boss, but not really. Like Tarkin thinks he's run the show, but like, I can snap your neck if I want to. But then the Emperor's going to be really mad at me.
Yeah. It's like a lion on a leash.
Yeah, exactly.
You kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. So back to Return of the Jedi. So now he does the back and forth, and then he makes the move. And again, the Emperor did not foresee that because he felt like Luke was going to follow in his father's footsteps, which we kind of find out obviously through the prequels, but we'll get to that later. But basically he makes the move, and then you have the big reveal, like, take off my mask. I want to see you with my own eyes, And yeah, I think the greatest thing about that little scene, even though it's kind of cheesy in a sense, but it's all Star Wars, is just like he just basically affirms what Luke's MO was, and he's like, you're right, and I don't know, I think it's a great scene.
Oh, it absolutely is, because it's really the only time you see Darth Vader really vulnerable. And you kind of, I mean, we've seen this entire story through Luke and all the loss that he has suffered.
Yeah.
Aunt Beru, Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
Then he loses Obi-Wan. Then he loses Yoda. But then kind of the tables are turned, and we see that, Darth Vader's lost a lot too. Like, he's more machine than man. He's like this, almost like this desiccated corpse, like stuffed in this suit to keep alive. And it's like,
yeah. Well, and
how can you hate that?
Here, how about this? That suit kept Anakin in check. It's not the
it's not strictly life support.
Yeah, and I don't think it's not the best. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It could have been better, and I'm sure at some point Anakin could have made it better, but there's always that chance you could still die. So it's kind of like it's his walking tomb. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as soon as he becomes Darth Vader, to the Emperor, he's damaged goods, literally. Literally damaged goods. And I don't think, obviously, the Emperor's plan, even though he instructs Lord Vader, you will bring him to me, and we'll turn them together. That's not his plan. His plan is he's gonna punk Vader, and Luke's gonna take his spot. It's the Sith way, which adds a whole nother layer. That adds a whole nother layer. It's like, I just don't want my, I don't want you anymore. I need your son because he's all in the flesh and you're not,
Right.
Do you think Vader got a chewing out from the Emperor when he learned that he cut off Luke's hand? It's like, he's not perfect anymore. What have you done?
I want less robot parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so creepy.
It is. It really is. I don't know. I just
remember when I first saw it in the great reveal of the helmet, and, watching it because my brother was watching it, and, I wasn't necessarily as invested as I am now in that kind of stuff. But I remember being like, oh, I felt really let down, and I don't know why. I'm like
this is it?
Like this old guy, and he looks kind of decrepit, and it took a while for me to actually understand all of it.
Right. Understand.
But that was definitely my first opinion of like, oh, I don't know.
It's like the old man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
It's like,
which I just watched. I just watched it this weekend, actually, with it.
First time?
No, with the kids. No.
Their first time?
No. Well, yeah, their first time.
Okay.
Yeah, their first time.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, Heather. It's like, wait, this is it? This is the guy that we've been fearing the whole time? And he's just like
that's
an old
not
dad?
James Earl Jones? What?
And not David Prowse. David Prowse is like, what? Yeah, I just, he is, at this point, he was wrapped up in so much hate and angst and basically destroying everything because that's what, Papa P told him to do. But I think the underlying theme that gets missed a lot is like, the only thing that redeemed him was love, and that was love from his son, which is like a very powerful message. And like you said, everything that you feared in Darth Vader, when you actually take off the mask, he's like, he's not too scary,
right.
Which is also, I think, another very subtle thing that Lucas kind of intertwines is like, at this point, he's a broken man, and it's almost like, not that, I would say it's almost like someone that's a drunk, like somebody that's all they know. That's all they know. And then when they finally get clean, it's like, I missed a lot because I'm so stuck with this addiction or whatever it is, substance abuse or whatever. And you kind of miss everything. And I think Vader realizes that way too late, and it takes a point where the Emperor's about to kill his son. So he's like, this is not what I said.
Maybe let's not do this.
Well, again, we'll probably talk about the prequels later, but I mean, like, the Emperor dangled a carrot and basically said, you can have eternal life, but he didn't really think eternal life would be in some esophagus, like I'm just which kept him alive, which he probably should have died. And obviously his hatred definitely kept him alive for a long time. Yeah, this is where Anakin becomes very complex, because it's like, him as one thing from the original. If you watch it the way it was released, you're like, him from one thing, and then you see a totally different side. You're like, oh, this didn't go well.
Yeah. Well, what I learned from the whole reveal where he's this like desiccated old man, it's like, you have to confront your fears, and when you do, like, sometimes like they shrink and you grow, and you turn out to be more powerful than you thought you were, and your fears turn out to be not as big as you thought they were. And that's kind of the whole story of Luke in, his journey of becoming a Jedi Knight and then eventually confronting Darth Vader. And so, I don't know where I was going with that, but that's
that's where I was going. That was going.
Yep.
No, it's
train
just
ran out of steam.
No, it's like choo, choo. Yeah, no, choo. And scene. No, I think where you're going was just like his fears overtook him, and his pursuit of kind of that destruction and hatred, because he destroyed what he loved. And that's all he knew. He dove deep, basically. And it wasn't until he sees a grown man basically at the same point he was when he turned. Luke and Anakin, when Anakin turns, are roughly around the same age. Anakin might be a little bit older, but he sees the young man he was, and now he sees that in his son. And I think that's where it's like, dude, that's like some serious deep stuff that you don't really talk about a lot in Star Wars, but I think it's a great theme, in Star Wars that gets kind of overlooked. It's like, oh yeah, Luke, I'm your father, but dude, this is deep. It's like, yeah, it's real deep.
Well, like, put yourself in Darth Vader's boots. It's like when during the fight where Luke is being zapped by the Emperor, about to be killed by him, and it's like, at this point, it's like, you've ruined everything. Everything is bad. Everything's awful.
Yeah.
And you know it's all your fault. And it's like, oh, that's probably what he felt like on Mustafar after finding out that Padme died. It's like, everything sucks and it's your fault.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you live with that? And you know, for the past 20 years or whatever, you know, he's just kind of adopted it as his identity. But at that point in the fight, it's like he's able to make a choice to make everything better, and it costs him his life, but he's able to do that. But
it's redemption, you know, and he made, and that's a powerful theme in Star Wars, is like, he even at that point, even when you're so deep, you can't really take one more step. He takes one step the right way, and it's the best decision, you know, and that's where I'm saying that moment when he takes off the mask and he just tells Luke, you are right, you know, and the other thing that kind of gets you is like the little gut punch, because he says, tell your sister you are right. Okay. And 20 minutes ago, he's going to turn Leia into like a Dark Lord, you know. It's like, he used, Obi-Wan and Yoda both tell Luke, you know, guard your feelings, you know, hold them tight, don't. And Vader picks up, oh, you have a twin sister, and it just like rolls off snaky. It's like, well, if you're not going to do it, I'll do it, you know. And that's what, you know, Luke kind of goes dark side for a second. He's like, no, you know, and you know, hacks away, and you know, hacks his arm off, you know, hacks his hand off, because that's what you do in Star Wars when you have lightsabers. You have to hack hands off. It's it's mandatory. But yeah, it's so interesting that literally 20 minutes ago you're going to use Leia as your next project, and then he takes the total 180 and says, "No, you know, tell your sister you were right." Because no one believed Luke. Even Leia didn't believe Luke. Like, run away. Looks like where?
Far away.
far away, you know. So yeah.
Poor Luke,
you know. So yeah, there you have it. Any closing thoughts from the original trilogy, Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker? Heather?
Regardless of how I feel about his old man status at the end, and the love of his son and that small whatever glimmer of hope that's there, he's still just visually, as a bad guy, wicked, intimidating. And I think the CPAP-esque breathing just brings a different level. I mean, anybody can kind of, you know, they can have the scary voice, do the deep thing and whatever, but to have that component be almost as terrifying as him actually speaking, to me, he's just cool.
Yeah, you didn't know asthma was cool until you saw Darth Vader. Man.
Until you saw Darth Vader.
Aaron, any final thoughts?
I think for me, why he's such a timeless classic villain, maybe the best of all time, is because he's not really that complicated of a villain as what you might find in like literature, but he really taps into the old like mythology and symbolism that we're all kind of familiar with, and that's why I think he's able to have that kind of power and influence that he does have as a cultural icon.
And
that's why I dig him so much.
Yeah, well, you said a long time ago that he was your favorite.
I remember.
I also remember you said IG-88, and I thought you were serious. So, no,
which episode number was that?
I don't know. We'll have to go back in the archives, but yeah. You're pulling a fast one. It's like, no, it's IG-88, and you're like, but I think we should dedicate our 88th episode to IG-88. So there's a little plug for that. There you go.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I think that's what makes Anakin so intriguing. It's just there's so many layers and so many different themes and ideas. The mythos is there, and like I said, from a Greek tragedy perspective, he's kind of like the Achilles. He's so talented, but he also has some weakness, and you get to really see that kind of play out in the prequels, which we'll talk about at a different time. But definitely from original trilogy, he is definitely. That's what makes it complicated, because I agree with you, Heather. Like, from a bad guy perspective, he's like super bad, but at the same time, it's like, well, there's this little soft side.
But you told me just to talk about the original trilogy, so that's why I answered the way that I did.
I appreciate that. So, should we wrap this one up?
I think we shall.
Give it a wrap. Put a little bow on it, man.
Yep. Wrap it up like a burrito.
Oh, is that how you wrap a burrito?
I don't know, man.
Gotta fold it and roll it. Yeah.
Well, we should plug our good sponsor, Audible.
Yes. So,
yeah. Let's
wrap it up, shall we?
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. You can check us out on social media, WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. Email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes at
Aaron, I'm calling right now. I'm going to call right now. Hold on. You're leaving a voicemail.
You're going to call right now?
Yeah. This is the greatest episode ever.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
You're calling?
Yeah, I'm calling right now.
You know, it forwards to my phone for some reason.
It does. It's like, wait. Yeah. Wait. Okay, hold on. No.
We'll see if it goes through.
No.
But in the meantime, you can get our entire back catalog of episodes at www.wstrmedia.com. And guess what? Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.
What?
Listen, guys, gals, everything in between.
Yes.
Stuff costs money.
What?
You think I know, say it ain't so, but it's true.
It's true.
You know, the Millennium Falcon, you think that flew for free?
No,
they got to pay for hyperfuel.
Coaxium.
Stop at the Better Petroleum and fill up, and that ain't cheap.
That ain't cheap, no.
Well, guess what? This podcast ain't cheap either. We got to pay for hosting. We got to upgrade everybody's mics soon.
We got to pay for electricity too, because apparently
yeah, because power went out. We gotta buy him a generator.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got stuff just costs money. We got to pay for Zoom.
Yeah.
But guess what? What if I told you there's a way you can help out your favorite podcast and it won't cost you anything?
Tell me more.
I know. It's crazy. It's insane even. Put it away for life. But no, those kind folks at Audible, they are perfectly sane, perfectly rational, and they have a deal for you. You go over to audible.com/WSTR and hey, sign up for a free trial. And guess what? Right away, instantly, they send us a check. It's awesome. And hey, you get a 30-day free trial of Audible. You could select from over 180,000 books. Find something you like. Find something you hate. Torture yourself with it. I don't care. Do what you want to do.
Pull an Anakin Skywalker.
It's on there.
I hate you.
Yes, it's on there. It's ready for you. Give it a listen. And hey, if you want to,
how much does it cost?
It's free.
What?
$0, 0 rubles, 0 dinero,
0 Republic credits.
Yes, absolutely free.
Yeah.
And hey, if you don't like the service, if you just want to cheap out and you cancel before the 30-day trial is up, hey, you get to keep the book. We get to keep the check. Everybody's happy.
Win-win.
Doesn't cost you a thing.
Yeah.
So head on over to audible.com/WSTR and pick up your free book and your free 30-day trial today and support us. And we thank you for it. We got our first check today. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. You just paid for a month of hosting.
There you go.
Now with that, you know all the ways to get a hold of us. You know where to find us. You know how to support us. And hey, this episode was our first ever live stream. So
crazy.
Get in touch with our social media and stay on the lookout for when we'll announce our next live stream.
Yes, exactly.
And with that, next week, episode 79, Anakin Skywalker, part 2.
3, 4. I think. Yeah.
We'll see where it goes.
We're gonna do like a 10-part miniseries.
Yep. Like the Ken Burns Vietnam documentary that's like 11 hours.
Yeah,
totally.
We'll just like take one piece of dialogue he says and kind of break that out, like
ad nauseum.
Like a 10-part, like ABC, then a couple more bullet points, that kind of thing.
We gotta like hyperlink it to like Star Trek movies and we'll get weird.
Yeah.
Anyway. I think with that, everybody knows how to wrap this episode up.
We do.
Yes.
Now this is podcasting. We did it.
Dance party. All right.